Hey, what's up guys? Victor here, Cyborg for Life, and today I want to talk about the things that I think go into making your surgery, your leg lengthening surgery, a success. To me, I think there's 10 steps, and we're going to go ahead and talk about them. Okay, so step number one, you got to make that consult, okay? You've been thinking about this for a while now, hopefully for a really long time, because if it's just popped into your mind, maybe you need to let it simmer down and see if you really do want to go through with getting taller, because again, this is a severe surgery. You're breaking your legs to get taller. So you need to make sure that this is something you really want. And if it is, and you absolutely know that, then you can go ahead and make that consultation with the physician who specializes in this leg lengthening surgery, okay? I will make a video one day on the surgeons in the US that I think are the best at doing this, including my surgeon, because I'm a little biased, but we'll get into that. But number one, you got to make that consult. You got to make that consultation to sit down and ask everything to this doctor. Okay, so things like, will I be able to get back to, normal activities, which probably the answer is going to be yes. What type of therapy, how often will I have to do it? What is the magnetic lengthening device like? What, where you're going to insert the rod and the screws, and all these questions you need to ask, to the doctor. They'll be happy to answer them for you, but have them ready to go, because when I did my research before having the consultation, so it could be a very knowledgeable exchange of words between the doctor, such as what type of saw they were using, a giggly saw and stuff like that. I was just asking a lot of different things of how they did the procedure, so it could kind of ease my mind and my concerns. Okay, so that's number one, is the consultation. You've got to make that, and again, I usually I'm not sure, it's probably not too expensive to book that. It's probably like $80 to $100, maybe more depending on who you're going to. But again, it's well worth it to see if this is something you really want. Okay. Next up, you got to make that decision in your mind. You've had the consultation. Now you got to sit down, make a list of pros and cons, wishes, wants, all these different things, and really just dump your head onto paper. Okay. I recommend you write it down or type it out, or put it on your phone or somewhere you can really see it, materialize it. And when you do that, you're able to kind of manifest and think and visualize the procedure. Okay, because I did this. I wrote it down. I was like, oh, they're gonna do, they were gonna do my femur first, but then I was like, we'll do the tibia. And I was like, okay, they're gonna go through the patellar tendon, so I have to deal with, what is it gonna be like coming back from that? Is it gonna be knee instability? They're gonna stretch out my Achilles tendon. All these things were coming out. And I made that list of cons, and then I said, oh, well, I'm going to be, my height is going to be balanced, because I had a height length discrepancy between my legs. So I said, I'm going to be balanced now. I won't have any problems with my back as much. My joints won't hurt as bad. My scoliosis should start to fade away. So that was in my pros, category. So you got to kind of really jot these down to really have them, spread out so you can see it. Okay. So that's where you can kind of like do that. Ask family and friends, okay? This is a collective decision. So if you make the decision and you have the money to pay for this, just be aware that you have to kind of find that support network as well. Make sure that it's a collective decision, because you may be able to get through this by yourself, but having a support team is going to be so much easier. So I recommend you ask others to kind of weigh in on your decision, okay? So let's say you do go through with this, because again, you could stop at number two and say, it's not for me, not now, I'll just wait. But if you go through with it, the next thing is to get the financing, okay? You got to get your money right for this, because it is an enormously expensive surgery. Like I said, $100,000 plus. Usually $150,000 is what you're looking at. Some people, you can get it done for $80,000, $60,000 here in the US, but you're looking at, for both bilateral tibias or femurs, well over $100,000. Okay, it's expensive. So whether it's a personal loan, family, friends chip in, you're working overtime to make that extra money. It's expensive. So you got to get that money right. Okay, financing it is also an option for those who have really, really good credit. I know Care Credit is one of them. There's a few others. If you look on at Google, financing leg lengthening surgery, and it should pop up with some other options. And that's what I recommend, is just to get the financing down, because again, you don't want to have a stress of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not able to go through with this because I can't pay for it. Okay. Then after that, scheduling the operation. So now you know you're going to do it. You have the money, or at least how you're going to get the money for the surgery. So now you got to schedule the operation. Usually I recommend scheduling it at like a couple of weeks away. For me, it was like after the consultation, it took me about a week and a half to make the decision, and then I made the decision, and then I scheduled the consultation, which was like another 2 to 3 weeks later, and it was nerve-wracking. Like, it was really nerve-wracking because I knew that it's like a D-Day, you know, like, oh my gosh, like in a few weeks I'm gonna be going through with breaking my legs voluntarily. So it's very, very harsh decision. So just schedule the operation. That is number 4. After that, the surgery. So, you know, the surgery hits, the big day comes, you are getting your legs broken, but it's greener on the other side because you're gonna be taller, okay? What I recommend is that you just have a support network, you know, whether it be a loved one there, significant other, friends, whatever it is, have somebody by your side or, you know, helping you out for the first at least 3 to 5 days. You know, just say, hey man, hey, honey, whatever it is, I really need your help here. Can you just be there with me? I'm sure they'll be down to do that with you if they're really your close ties, but you got to have somebody, okay? For me, I was young at the time when I had it done. I had my parents there, I had my sisters there. I was single at the time, so I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, but the point is that you gotta have a support network, okay? And I recommend a support network for up to 2 weeks, because after that I was able to really kind of do things myself, but the first 2 weeks is kind of, you know, havoc. It's kind of hard. Okay, we'll get into the actual days in another video, but that is the operation. Now we're talking about post-op, okay? So I'm sorry, the rehab. So basically, you have to start rehab. That's going to be therapy. You're going to be prescribed therapy. You're going to need to get to therapy, okay, multiple times a week. I think it's 2 to 3 times a week, because this flexibility and getting your mobility and breaking up that scar tissue is an extremely important thing, especially if you're getting bilateral. I only had one done because I had height imbalance, but you guys are getting bilateral to get taller. It's extremely important because you will lose mobility and flexibility, especially because you're sedentary, if you do not get to therapy on a regular basis, okay? And then I recommend doing more at home. They're gonna give you homework, okay? Therapy. Follow up with that and do it. Now, I even have like I said in a previous video, I said that I'm gonna have a program coming out in the next month or 2, which I use personally to help me rehab on top of the therapy. Okay, it was my RTR, Road to Resurgence program. I still have the old notes. I'm gonna revamp it and get it ready for you guys, okay? Then you gotta rebuild. So now that you're able to walk, this is like 3 months later, you have your new height, you're confident, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, but you're tight, you're stiff. You got some, you know, mobility back because you did your therapy right, but now it's time to build the muscle strength back, okay? So you gotta start hitting that gym, start easing back into it, transition in nice and slow, but start working that up. And again, that'll be in the program that I give, you know, out to you guys, okay? Then it's the removal. So this is usually a year later. You got to get the rod and the hardware out. You know, I think they recommend that you get it out. Back when I had it done, they didn't say I had to, but I wanted to, and I did. So I got it done about a year later. You get that out. You're going to be down again for a little bit, like 2 weeks or so. Not as bad. In fact, you could probably walk that same day, and a lot of people do. But I usually, you know, take it easy. I don't go sprinting or anything like that, or go squatting with my most weight, because again, you just had another operation to get this stuff out. Usually I will, what do you call it? Just take some time, and I'll do another little rehab program. It's smaller, it's more brief, but it still helps me get back on my feet efficiently, okay? And then after that, after you're back after about 2-3 weeks and you're transitioning, you're getting right back into it, you wanna go ahead and do the rebuilding process, where you just start putting on, you know, more muscle, strength, and just strengthening the weak areas and stuff, because now all the hardware is out, you're taller, you got everything done. Now it's to get back to your normal activities, okay? Just being taller though, okay? So that is the steps that I think you guys need to have in mind when you are getting a successful leg lengthening surgery. If you don't have that and those steps in the right order, you can really screw up, okay? So again, it goes consultation, all right? Make the decision to get it done. You gotta get your money right, okay? Then you need to have the surgery done. Then you need that post-op, you know, support. And then you actually need to have, you know, rehab. And then you need to have a plan to rebuild. Then you need to get the removal of all your hardware, and then you got to rehab again, and then you can rebuild. Okay, so that is really the process. Okay, guys. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did. Subscribe. We got more videos coming your way. Click the link in the description for the podcast. We've been having more people talk about their stories. Yeah, if you want more information, head over to cyborgforlife.com. And until next time, as usual, this is Victor signing out.